I woke up on the plane and saw every passenger around me slumped over, not breathing. And this plane had already been in the air for 3 days. I checked my phone. It was 4 a.m. on May 20th. My flight was supposed to leave at 4 p.m. on the 16th. If my phone was right, then this plane had been flying for more than 3 days. How is that even possible? Even with a full tank, this plane couldn't stay in the air for 3 days. I looked around at the other passengers in confusion. They all had their heads down, like they were asleep. I nudged the person next to me, but there was no response. My hand trembling, I placed it under his nose. He wasn't breathing. I jerked my hand back in fear, then quickly checked another person. Same thing, no response, no breathing. But I was sure they weren't dead, because their bodies were still warm. I worked up the nerve to walk down the aisle and found that everyone was the same. I checked other passengers' phones and boarding passes. Every piece of evidence told me the same thing. The time and the route were correct. I was on a flight that should have lasted 3 hours, but had somehow been flying for 3 days. I tried hard to think back through everything from boarding up to now. It seemed like I fell asleep right after eating the in-flight meal. It was a chicken burger, and nothing about it seemed off. But just to be sure, I went to the flight attendants area. The flight attendants were the same as the passengers. Heads down, not breathing. The only place I hadn't checked yet was the cockpit. Passengers aren't allowed in there, but I didn't think this had anything to do with the pilot. There's no way he could keep a plane flying for 3 days. Just as I was lost in thought, a voice suddenly came from behind me. We're all going to die here. I got excited and hurried over into the cabin. Bro, my name's Chenji. What's your name? I'm Wang Cheng. I'm a programmer. Nice. Wang Cheng, why did you just say we're all going to die here? Let me tell you something, and you'll understand. 3 months ago, we took a job to decode the black box from a crashed plane. But the data stored inside was unbelievably strange. According to the flight records, after the plane lost contact with the control tower, it kept flying for another 6 hours, even after the fuel should have run out. And after the in-flight meal was served, there wasn't a single sound from inside the plane. Back then, the only explanation was that everyone on board had some kind of accident. Hearing that made a chill run down my spine. It really did sound a lot like what was happening now. At first, we thought the test results were wrong, so we changed the algorithm, but after updating it, we picked up a signal from the plane. What signal? SOS, a distress signal. That meant someone on that plane knew something was going to happen ahead of time. Hearing that, it suddenly hit me. After the flight attendant served the meal, I vaguely remembered hearing someone say, "Stay safe." If I remembered right, it came from the right side of the cabin. I walked over to take a closer look, and suddenly noticed someone's calf twitch. I immediately grabbed him and pinned him down. "Please, man, don't kill me. Calm down. We're good people. Haven't you noticed something's wrong? This plane has been flying for 3 days. I don't really know what's going on. When I woke up, I saw that the people around me weren't breathing. Then I saw you walking back and forth, so I thought you killed them. That's why I didn't dare say anything. You've got it wrong. I'm not some murderer, and they're not dead either. They've just fallen into some bizarre coma. Let me ask you this. When the meal was being served, did you say anything like, 'Stay safe'? What do you mean, stay safe?" I never said that. Then he stood up and looked over at Wang Cheng. "I think we might all die, because my brother died on that crashed plane you were talking about. My Huawei Mate 60 Pro shipped that fast? Of course. The link in the bottom left is the real deal. One more thing. When I was boarding the plane, I got a text on my phone. I picked up his phone to check, and that text was actually an SOS. Who are you exactly? Why would you get an SOS text? Isn't that the same signal I picked up? My name's Liu Meng. I'm just a regular college student, and I've gotten texts like that several times." Then I kept going through his phone. He'd received this SOS message once before, 3 months ago, and the sender was just a string of garbled characters. Who sent you that message? Did you know ahead of time the plane was going to crash? Just listen to me, okay? The message was from my brother. Even though he died in that plane crash 3 months ago, the messages never stopped. What's your brother's name? My brother's name is Liu Gang. He's a psychiatrist. As soon as he said that, Wang Qiang pulled a piece of paper from his pocket. It was a discharge certificate from GQ Psychiatric Hospital, and the signing doctor was Liu Gang. I just got out of a psychiatric hospital not long ago. 3 months ago, because I insisted on the black box's bizarre test results, I was sent there. My attending doctor was your brother. At first I fought it. Later I realized resisting was useless, so I started cooperating with the treatment. Then your brother happened to be going abroad on a business trip, so he discharged me. I stared at Wang Qiang's discharge papers, and Liu Gang's handwriting made me think of something. I pulled a prescription slip out of my pocket. I'd been dealing with really bad insomnia lately, so I specifically went to a psychiatrist for sleeping meds. The handwriting on the prescription looked a lot like Liu Gang's. The doctor said he'd be out of the country for a while, so he told me to take those meds first for the insomnia. Now it all lined up. My brother was on that plane because he was going abroad. As soon as those words landed, it felt like we finally had an answer. Somehow, all of this seemed connected to Liu Gang. Wait, I feel like something's off. Isn't the order of events wrong? Your brother died 3 months ago. After that, Wang Qiang started testing the black box, and then he was sent to the psychiatric hospital. By then, your brother was already dead, so how could he have treated Wang Qiang? And me getting that prescription was a recent thing too. So, was someone lying? After hearing that, Liu Meng pulled up a photo of Liu Gang on his phone. We took a close look. This was definitely the doctor who treated me, and I was sure he was also the one who prescribed my meds. The mood between the three of us froze again. "Liu Meng, your phone has signal, right? Try making a call." Liu Meng called the police. After a brief silence, the call actually went through. Liu Meng explained what had happened, but on the other end, we heard voices we couldn't understand, almost like some kind of code. So we tried calling a few more times, but it was always the same. Before long, his phone died. Did either of you record that call just now? It might have been some kind of code. I want to try to crack it. My phone can record calls, but it's dead. At that point, the trail had completely gone cold. We all looked pretty discouraged, and that's when the hunger started to hit. I haven't eaten in 3 days. I'm starving. Aren't you guys hungry too? Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess I am kind of hungry. So we went to the flight attendant cabin to look for food, but the moment we walked in, we saw a flight attendant collapsed on the floor, like all her limbs were broken. As we watched her slowly open her mouth, a sound came from her throat that we couldn't understand. It sounded almost exactly like the voice on the police call. The next second, she went completely still. All her bones are broken. I've seen this kind of thing before in the hospital. Looks like she's really dead this time. But why would she die like that? Her bones couldn't have just broken for no reason, right? I thought back carefully. When meals were being served, she looked completely normal. After I woke up, I came to the crew cabin once, and at that time, her head was hanging down, just like the other passengers. Looking at the unfastened seatbelt, it suddenly hit me. Could it be because he woke up? You mean he died because he woke up? I nodded. Liu Meng looked stunned. But we woke up too, so why did nothing happen to us? The air froze again. After thinking for a moment, Wang Qiang spoke. She still couldn't let go of that voice we couldn't understand. The sound coming from the flight attendant's throat just now was a lot like the voice from the phone earlier. The rhythm and tone were almost exactly the same. You still think it was some kind of code? No. People don't send codes when they're on the verge of death. He had to be calling for help. So I think that sound was more like a language. You mean her language is different from ours? If Liu Meng and I had only been shocked up to that point, then what Wang Qiang said next left us completely frozen. The company I worked for used to do work for the Aerospace Institute, so I've seen astronauts in gravity training. When the gravity they're under gets too strong, their bodies can suffer fractures, just like that flight attendant. As for why the three of us are fine, there's only one explanation. Our bodies can handle much greater gravity. The moment I heard the word gravity, I suddenly remembered something. Wang Qiang, your company used to work with the Aerospace Institute, right? My research institute also worked with them on a project before. The subject of the study was a mouse found at the scene of a plane crash. After a whole series of procedures, the mouse survived. Everyone was amazed by how tough it was, but for some reason we ended up putting the mouse through a gravity test. The results showed that it could withstand about 20 times the gravity a normal mouse could.